Hey there folks, Luke here with the Outdoor Gear Review. I hope you are all doing well. Today for this episode, I have a preview of the Carinthia Micro Tent. GORE-TEX, fairly lightweight, incredibly expensive. Go ahead and get comfortable. Let's take a look at it now. Now with this preview, this actually covers two different products. It covers the Micro Tent from Carinthia and also the Eberlestock Micro Condo, I believe that's what they call it, tent. Both are the exact same product, except that Eberlestock basically licensed this product and put their name on it. Essentially, it's the same product, but with two different names. Now, this shelter is a combination. It's part tent, and it's also part bivy. It has two poles, which you don't have to use if you don't want to. You can use this as a bivy, but with the poles, it's definitely more of a tent. Good quality, shock corded poles, aluminum. As you can see there, very, very simple, lightweight, but yet strong. Well, I got the poles in, now it's time for the tent stakes. This does need to be staked out if you're going to use it as a tent. If you're going to use it as a bivy, you don't have to. Now the thing is, this shelter, this tent, does not come with any tent stakes. And for the price of this product, that is insane. All right. The shelter has been staked out. Now I'm going to use two guy lines, one on this side and then one on the other side to make it more taut. You don't have to do this step unless you want to, but it will definitely get the material off of your face when you're inside of it. So here you go, folks. It is all set up. Do a 360 for you. This is the front entrance. As you can see here, there are plenty of tie-off points. So you can stake this thing out to be really, really taut if you need to. So folks, now that it's set up, let's go over some information, shall we? Now when it comes to the dimensions, this is 34 inches by 106 inches. So this is big enough for one man and his gear, for his pack. When it comes to weight, this is right at 4 pounds, 3.9 pounds. So it's definitely not light, but at the same time, it doesn't seem to be very heavy when you hold this in your hand. When it comes to the materials, this is a 3-layer GORE-TEX, and this is different than, say, a membrane such as a rain jacket. This is a specialized form of GORE-TEX, and that is why it is so expensive. This GORE-TEX features a gas permeable technology, which means that it's absolutely 100% waterproof and extremely breathable. Also, folks, this is a military surplus item, and the NATO stock number is 8340 41 0002527, just in case you're interested. Now it's time to open this up, show you all what it's all about. As you can see here, the lid unzips all the way back, and it can be rolled up and put out of the way when you don't need it. So you can lay out underneath the stars if you want to. So when the top is put aside, then you have your bug mesh. And that will unzip just like the top does, all the way back. Now I will hop inside here for you. This thing is extremely long, but it's not very big. It's roughly 9 feet long. But when you're inside of this, this is incredibly tight. It really is. So as you can see there, I'm all zipped up now with just the bug netting. And folks, when you have your sleeping pad down underneath you, you are really, really close to this material. The ceiling height here is about 1 foot 7 inches. And when it comes to width, you're looking at about 2.5 feet. So when you are on top of your pad, you have your sleeping bag on, and your backpack is above your head or down at your feet, it is very, very tight. It's extremely long, but very, very tight. As you can see here, all of the seams, all the stitching has been taped. So it's definitely waterproof. So this is the top here of the bivy tent. Throw that over. You have these snaps to cover the zipper, and it goes all the way around the tent. Now, one thing that I really like about this shelter is the top material. When you're inside of this, and let's say it's raining, okay? You can, of course, zip it all the way down and around, just like so. But let's say it's not raining too hard, and there's a nice breeze coming in. At each corner, you have an eyelet. So you can put a stick into the ground, or maybe even your trekking pole, and you could tie this off to make a shelf. That is incredibly useful. When set up like this, it allows a good amount of air to come inside of the tent to keep you nice and cool. It will also help with condensation. Now, when it comes time to set up this tent, it really doesn't take long at all. With a little bit of practice and having everything ready to go, you could do this in around 5 minutes. You can set this thing up, hop inside, and you're protected. Now, when it comes time to break it down, again, it takes about 5 minutes. Now, when it comes to cost, this thing is out of this world expensive. It is certainly a product that is not meant for everyone. This runs, the Carinthia version, around $850. The Eberlestock version, which you could purchase here in the United States, runs $900. Now, is it worth this price? Well, that's to be decided in the future. I'm still working on the review. That is coming up. I'm still testing out this product. Now, speaking of which, I have used this numerous times on numerous overnight trips. I've used it in the rain and thunderstorms, and I can tell you this much, folks. This thing is 100% waterproof, and I'm not sure I have ever used a shelter that breathes as well as this one. The GORE-TEX is amazing. It is absolutely amazing. In the pouring rain, with this thing 100% zipped up, I had no condensation at all. And I'm talking like temperatures in the high 70s, pouring the rain, all zipped up, no air, and nothing was damp, nothing was wet. So, I mean, that by itself says a lot. Now, this GORE-TEX material is impressive, but it's also really expensive, as I just mentioned. So, in the future, I will hand down my verdict and tell you all if I think this thing is worth that cost. But I have to continue to test it out first. When it comes to colors, this is in dark olive green. It doesn't even really look that green, that's what they call it. It looks more gray with kind of a hint of green to it, but I really do like this. You can find this in the German Flecktarn camo pattern. I haven't seen that before, but I've heard that it's out there. Now, this product is virtually impossible to get in the United States unless you purchase the Eberlestock version. The Carinthia version, you would have to import it. And essentially, that's what happened here with this tent and myself. I found this on eBay, and I picked it up for less than $300. In the past, I've had viewers ask about this tent, and for me personally, $800, $900, it's way out of my budget. I can never afford that. But when I saw it for less than $300, I jumped on it because I wanted to show it off to you all. Especially to those who are interested in the Eberlestock version, because they are 100% identical. The only difference will be this right here, the labeling. This will not say Carinthia, it will say Eberlestock if you get the Eberlestock version. It is really disappointing that this shelter does not come with any tent stakes. What on earth? That blows my mind. But yeah, it doesn't. Again, when you have this awning all tied out, staked out, it truly is an awesome feature. I mean, you could have this staked out and it could be raining and you stay 100% dry. It's really well thought out, very smart.
Good morning, everybody.
As mentioned before, it is very tight. Roughly 9 feet long and only 2.5 feet wide and about 1 foot 7 inches tall. So it is a tight coffin, if you know what I mean. This product was made for a very specific reason, and it had a soldier in mind. As I mentioned, this is a military surplus item. So this was not made for specifically the civilian market. and that is why it is the way that it is. So here you go, it's in its stuffed sack. I could compress it a little bit more, but roughly this is 13.5 inches tall and about 4.5 inches wide. Now, this does come in at right at 4 pounds, but it definitely doesn't feel like it. It's such a small package, it really doesn't feel that heavy at all. Like I said, I've carried this thing around, I've used it many nights, and when it comes to heft, I really don't notice it. It's not bad. Ease of setup is excellent. You can set this thing up very, very quickly if you need to, but it is tight, very, very tight. Now folks, that has been my preview of the Carinthia Micro Tent. The review is coming up in the future. This has also been a preview of the Eberlestock Micro Condo Tent, since it's essentially the same product as well. If you guys have any questions for me, you know what to do. Drop them down below. Until next time, strength and honor, be well.